Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Via Stoica podcast. Today, we are doing the Stoic Quote segment. If you have been listening for the past few weeks, you may have noticed that on Friday, we started dropping shorter episodes with Benny explaining a Stoic quote and how he applies it to his own life. And I just loved what he was doing, so I'm going to pick up and take my own stab at it and try to do that today with one of my favorite quotes that's been really rolling around in my head for the last few days. And it's a quote from Seneca in his letters to Lucilius. If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. So now, if you're like me, when you first heard that, it sounds deep, but you might not immediately know what to do with it. So let's break that down. Seneca is talking about direction, about purpose, about goals. The port is your destination in life. It's where you're trying to go. And the wind is all the external forces around you, all the opportunities, people's opinions, their advice, the challenges that come into your life, the good luck that comes into your life. All of that is the wind. So what Seneca is saying is that none of that matters if you don't know where you're going. So if you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter what direction the wind is blowing because you're just going to drift. So think about your own life for a second. Have you ever been in a place where you were busy, even successful on the surface, but deep down it felt kind of lost? Like you were reacting to things rather than intentionally creating your path. That's what Seneca's pointing to. We live in a time where there's a million winds blowing. Social media, career expectations, money goals, the opinions of others, FOMO, all of it. And if you don't have a solid port, your own personal definition of what matters, you'll chase whatever winds seem strong at the moment. But here's the problem. Without a clear destination, even good opportunities can take you off course. Let's start with a real example. So let's say they think about someone who wants to be successful. But what does that actually mean, right? Success for one person might mean starting a business and living independently. For another, it might mean raising a family. And for a third, it might mean creating art that moves people. But if you don't define it clearly, then you'll end up chasing someone else's version of success and wondering why you feel empty when you get there. So next is how do we apply this, right? So how do we take this idea and apply it to our own personal lives? Well, first, you need to get brutally honest with yourself. Ask yourself, what's my port? Not what other people expect of me, but what do I really value? What kind of life do I want to build? What kind of person do I want to become? These are the things that you should be asking yourself. And you don't have to define a perfect 5-year plan. This is more like setting a compass, setting a direction over, it's the process over the outcome. You're aiming somewhere meaningful, not just floating by. And once you know that port, everything else gets easier. You can say yes to the winds that push you forward and closer to the port. You can say no to the things that pull you away from that port. You can make decisions faster. You stay grounded when life gets chaotic. And even better, you can course correct much more quickly when you do drift, because that will happen. So here's the challenge I'm going to leave you with today. Pick your port. Write it down. Keep it somewhere visible. And every time a new opportunity or a distraction or a shiny object comes along, ask yourself, does this help me sail towards that port? If it doesn't, then let it go. Because the truth is, the wind will always blow. But only you get to decide where you're going. And that's the Stoic Quote segment for today. If this is something that you want to discuss with one of us here at Via Stoica, we do offer free consultations on our website at viastoica.com. And you can choose if you have a particular coach between myself, Benny, and Bryce that you would prefer to work with. You can choose that person and they'll set up time with you. But we'd love to meet you. We'd love to connect with you. The first one's free on us. If you have something where you're wondering, what is my port? Where am I sailing? Where am I going? And you can't quite get clarity around that, we would love to help you find that clarity. We would love to help you. We would love to go on that journey with you. So thank you so much for listening today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.